I may talk a little bit about the violence that we witnessed this weekend in Murehwa. It's important to state that this is not an isolated incident. It's part of a wide pattern of violence that has permeated our electoral landscape ever since the Citizens Coalition for Change was formed on the 24th of January. We've seen in almost every single province violence perpetrated by ZANU-PF. And that violence must be understood in the context of the fact that the deputy leader of ZANU-PF actually called for the CCC to be crushed like lice. It's also in the context of the fact that the leader of ZANU-PF actually called out and said, "Vakombe, kombai murove." He went so far as to say, "Vanve CCC ngavatandaniswe." We also have on record meetings of ZANU-PF members when they call for the killing of our President Nelson Chamisa, and for CCC members' homes to be burnt, for them to be killed because they are sellouts. We've seen this in Matobo and in Season, Berengwa and Gutu, in Chipinge, Murehwa, almost every single province. And this is a reaction to the mass mobilization program that was launched by President Nelson Chamisa. It's popularly known as Mugwazo, but the essence of it is that the CCC has penetrated every single village, town and city in Zimbabwe, something that ZANU-PF didn't expect and that they didn't budget for. And what the recent violence, or the several incidents of violence, have shown is that it's a myth that ZANU-PF, rural areas are ZANU-PF strongholds. The CCC has clearly penetrated these areas and they're running scared, because what other explanation is there for someone who's 75 years old? You go into their homestead and you start beating them up. For the avoidance of doubt, we condemn violence in the strongest of terms. We want peace, we want elections, we don't want war. We don't want a repeat of these incidents. And we've said time and again that ZEC has a constitutional obligation under Section 156 to ensure that mechanisms are in place to avoid political violence. And yet they've been completely quiet. Also, the National Peace and Reconciliation Commission have an obligation to ensure that such incidents of violence don't take place, and yet, despite various engagements and written submissions by us to them, including dossiers, they do nothing. Same goes for the Human Rights Commission. And as for the police service, we've repeatedly said that ZANU-PF must stop abusing the police service to achieve its own ends. We call for an independent, impartial investigation into the violence that took place against our members in Murehwa. And it's not enough for the police service, frankly, to just say we're investigating, because that's exactly what they said about Acton Mashayanyika in July. Nothing has happened. They said they'd come back to us with a full investigative report after the killing of Mo Blessing Ali. To date, nothing has happened. To date, the killers of Mboneni Ngube have not been held to account. How many more CCC members must be beaten, maimed, or killed before state institutions carry out their constitutional obligation? This does not bode well for what we want, which is a free, fair, and credible election in 2023. Now I come to